So, hello, I am speaking with Emily. Emily is in Disney's Beauty and the Beast that will be at Wharton Center from October 14th through the 19th. And today I get to chat with her about all things Beauty and the Beast. Would you like to
Hi,
share? Hi, would you like to share a little bit about your roles or
sure.
multiple
Um,
roles?
I most nights in Beauty and the Beast, I'm in the ensemble, so I'm in all the big dance numbers, um, kicks and turns, and clinking mugs, and all sorts of crazy fun things. On other nights, I'm the understudy to Mrs. Potts and to Madame, which is the name of the wardrobe character. So every now and then, you might see me as one of them, depending if those women need a moment. I jump in for that. My husband is also in the show with me, and he plays Lumière every night. That is what he is. Yeah, it's such a fun show. I'm so happy to be in the ensemble because the dance numbers are just wild.
Do you have a favorite or a favorite costume that you
Oh my
wish to look
gosh.
for?
I love the number Gaston. It was really challenging to learn. We have big, heavy metal mugs that we clink in all different directions, so it was a little scary to learn. But once we all got good at it and stopped clinking each other and ourselves in the fingers, it's really fun. It's just fast and energetic and funny, and for me, it's where my energy just like takes off in the show.
Excellent. Now you're quite literally taking your own personal show on the road with this, right? You are your husband, your your infant child, your
Hmm.
dog.
Yes.
What does this look like when you're not at home?
Well, we call ourselves four in a Forester because we are literally all four of us just in a little Subaru Forester. Most of the company flies from city to city, but our dog is a little too big to fly, so we pack everybody up into the car and we drive city to city. So yeah, it just gets more and more family circus as you talk about it. Jack, my baby, was about 5.5 weeks old when we started rehearsal. So he is, I know, it's not something I would, suggest anyone do, but the timing of it all just was too incredible for us to not try. And we really went into it with the thought of like, okay, if this is too physically demanding for me, then we'll make a change. But if we can do this, what if we could do this? And I mean, there was no world where we were going to leave the dog behind, so she's coming too, and that meant we had to drive, and we have, the car topper and a very specific plan for how much stuff fits in the car and where it goes. Um, yeah, I mean, what it looks like is just like a new level of teamwork for me and my husband. And it's a lot of divide and conquer. It's a lot of like, okay, I'm going to take the dog out, you feed the baby. Okay, I'm going to pack the suitcases, you put them in the car. And things like that we're getting more and more refined each time we go to a new city and pack the car again. Each time we drive a long distance and see what it's like to, okay, we're at a rest stop. I'm going to take her to go pee. You change his diaper on the fold down thing is terrible. Let's do it on the front seat. Let's do, um, yeah, it looks like sometimes chaos and sometimes like we're getting in a real groove of our teamwork to make it all happen. Yeah.
So two words you would use to describe it. Sorry.
Sure.
This is a mom site, as I explained before we started recording, and my son it keeps coming in and out of the door, although he's supposed to be at school. So, anyway, so I apologize for that. So
Mine is
two
screaming with my mother in the other room. I can hear him right there.
words.
I think it's a happy scream, but I'm sure they'll tell me if it's
Right.
bad.
So two words probably to sum up would be chaos and teamwork,
Sure. Or if I can
organized
have three
chaos.
words, if I can have 3 words, I'll put community in there or family because the I don't want to get too far into this interview with people thinking we're just doing it alone. We always have to have someone there with us as childcare since we're both in the show.
Sure.
So we had, I think 14 weeks at the beginning that my parents were traveling with us in
Oh,
like in their own car, in their own, hotel room or whatever. But the last two cities, Danny's mom was with us, and we've kind of puzzled together different people who can help out. And without that, this would not be possible. So that's a huge part of it for us.
well, that's great though that you have that support. And then also the your relationship with your husband is you're just if you can do this, you mean you guys are setting the bar high for the rest of us. No, I'm just
Oh
teasing,
my gosh.
but good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. You can make it work. And it just life happens the way it's supposed to happen. So, and you're making it work. So
Yeah. And I think we went into it with like the best plan A that we could have, knowing that it was going to turn into plan B, C, D,
sure.
like have to keep refining and sort of having little like business meetings with each other where we say, okay, I don't think it's working this way anymore. What if we try it this way? Okay, maybe we can, and it's simple things like what if we put Jack's suitcase in the top and then we could put the food bag down here and stuff like that. This is what we talk about all day
Like
long.
logistics, but that's okay.
Exactly.
Now, Mrs. Potts is such a mom role.
Yeah,
Do you feel since becoming a mom, you've changed the way you play her on stage when you're called up?
absolutely. I think particularly there's a part at the end of the show, no spoiler, I guess, where everyone becomes human again, where you see Chip. And even when I am not playing the role, when I'm backstage in my ensemble track and I hear Chip go, Mama, Mama, I used to just burst into tears every day that I heard it, to the point that Cameron, the lovely woman who plays Babette, will come up to me at that moment in the wings and tell me a joke, just to be like, don't you listen to this part, don't do it. Um, yeah, I think it's especially when I'm on for the role, it's just a different level of within the story. All of these characters are hoping with every fiber of their being that they will get to become human again and get to live their full lives again. But Mrs. Potts is also wishing that for Chip, for her son. And it's, I mean, the moment where it happens is amazing. There's also a really deep moment where Chip looks at her and says, Mama, will I ever be a boy again? And that was another moment that I was like, oh, I don't know how deep I can let this in. I want to let it all the way in, but I don't want to fall into a puddle on the stage. That doesn't really serve the story either. Yeah, I think anytime I think about Jack when I'm in the story and I'm Mrs. Potts with Chip, it just feels deeper. It just feels I feel very connected to wanting things for myself, but also wanting things for him.
Great. That's all.
Yeah.
And what is it like playing beside your husband?
It's so much fun. Um, the uh, the regular tracks we're in, we don't actually see each other a lot. The show is pretty. It goes back and forth between like the principals are having scenes, they're in the castle, and then we flip back to the village, and that's where all the dance numbers are happening. So we'll kind of pass each other in the wings, or there's a few little moments like, oh my gosh, the number Be Our Guest, which of course he is leading, I see him in that. Or there's a great part where I'm where the number is just starting and I'm behind a curtain and I can hear him start the number. And it's just cool to experience the person that you love just like shining to their full potential. I know there's a few moments in the show that he can see me in the middle of a dance number that he just like turns this way and sees me up here and just goes, ah, look at her go. It's really cool to see each other um, doing what we love to do. It's also just magnificent to have your person there as support, because it is taxing. It is a lot. And especially, we're not going home and like taking an Epsom salt bath and having a glass of wine and like recovering the way some of the people in the company can, which is what I did when I was their age. We come home and have creatures to take care of. So having each other to kind of say, okay, tonight maybe you need a little more rest. I'll take care of both of them for a second is just it's just magical. It's everything.
Have you ever worked together before like this?
We have only done one show together before. It's actually pretty rare to get cast in a show together. Unless you maybe like know the director and can get in right at the beginning and say, well, if you want her, you got to have me too, or if you want him, you got to have me too. And it the timing was just absolutely crazy. We had to do IVF. We tried for a long time to get pregnant, and we were toward the end of our third round when Danny got an audition for Beauty and the Beast. And I found out that Lumière was tap dancing in this new version, and Danny is a exceptional tapper. And I thought, well, he's going to book this. What are we going to do? And when you do IVF, you're just doing math all the time of like, okay, if this round works, I'll be pregnant by this time. I'd have the baby by this time. And I just kept doing that math. And I thought, okay, well, I'm looking at these dates. If this round works, I will have had the baby by then. Maybe I can go on the road with the baby. I'll have a remote job. And I thought about it a little more and I went, wait a minute. If I've had the baby before rehearsal, maybe I can be in the show too. So I got myself an audition. And somehow we both ended up booking the show, and that third round ended up working. Kind of all at the same time. It's driving me insane. We found out that I was pregnant as Danny was leaving for his final callback for Lumière. Like he was standing in the doorway with his backpack on. I said, wait. They just called us. And then he went and auditioned for Lumière and got it. And then a couple days later, we found out that I got it too. And kind of all at the same time knew we were pregnant. It was just, it's just.
So you were pregnant when you were auditioned? You didn't know you're pregnant when you auditioned?
I
Or just
was
pregnant?
I actually couldn't do the very first audition they asked me to do because it was the day of my implantation.
Oh, okay. So
And
wow.
like, I wasn't sure how it was going to time out because they're testing my hormones every day and trying to decide when the day should
Sure.
be. I also wasn't completely clear on how active I was allowed to be because there's a lot of talk about like, well, you can do what you normally do. And I had to say, but do you understand what I normally do? Does you really mean that? But luckily, even though I missed that first one, the casting team was able to bring me in at a different date. And I was, I think, 5 days pregnant, something like that. I was just doing,
But
cartwheels and kicks and
that's
just
your
feeling like,
normal though. I mean,
which is my normal. And also, there's got to be something to be said for like experiencing joy while you're going through IVF when you're trying to get pregnant, like that my body was able to know like, no, we're having happiness. The world is good. We're doing cartwheels. Like, what a great time to have a baby. That it all kind of, yeah, just lined up.
wow. I'm kind of speechless, which is very uncommon for me. Now, as the understudy, I have a couple
Yeah.
questions. What's it like preparing for the role and kind of staying up on it while not knowing when you're going to possibly have to do it? And then also, how much warning do you get?
Well, they only have to give you a half hour.
Oh my,
They almost always give you more than that. Um, Both of the women I understudy are so kind and lovely. If they have, a scheduled vacation day ahead of time, then I know weeks ahead of time. If they're not feeling well, they'll probably let me know in the morning. The last time that I went on for Mrs. Potts that wasn't scheduled, I think I found out at like 11 a.m. and I went on for like a 7:30 p.m. show. It was plenty of time. But I stay prepared for it. I'm pretty methodical, and I usually pick like one or two shows during the week that I try to speak along with them and just think through it again. We also have plenty of understudy rehearsal that like the stage manager has us in, and we go through the show, all of the understudies together. But for myself, just to make sure I don't go, yeah, okay, I know it, and then walk away and forget it. Usually once or twice a week. when I'm, changing my costume for the next scene, I can hear them and I'll kind of speak along and think about where she's standing and things like that. Or if I have a chance, I can watch if the theater has a good monitor, I can watch it. And I like to every now and then check in on that. But understudying is something that I love to do. It's pretty much my whole resume that I dance in the ensemble and then I understudy the principal. And it's just because it's something I'm good at absorbing those two things at once. So to a degree, I trust that, but also I check in with myself
Are
fairly
you in
often.
general, are you in general a pretty good multitasker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of get
I'm
that.
a very type A Virgo.
Oh, I'm a
like,
Virgo. Yeah, I was going to
oh,
be like, you're gonna set late August or September birthday. So
yes,
anyway, it's a different, we're a different breed. I'm just going to say
yes,
that.
yes.
Okay,
This is why I
now
have a plan for how the car is packed. Now you really understand why everything is logistics for me.
I was trying, we used to have a Volkswagen Bug and it was yellow and you couldn't help but be happy. And it really didn't fit. I mean, I'm not really a yellow bug person, I don't think, but my husband, this is not about me, but I'm going to share. Um, and I'm recording now, so maybe it'll make the cut, maybe it won't. Who knows?
Maybe.
Um, and every time you just can't be unhappy in a Volkswagen Bug, right? And people can't be unhappy with you. So, or it was much harder. Um, like we would travel and people at hotels would be like, "Do you want me to help you put your stuff away?" He's, "No, she has a plan. It will all fit. You will not be able to make it fit."
There's only one way that it
As
will
long
go. Yes.
truly my way. No. So back to the understudy idea. I was thinking that when I was preparing for this, that, moms are kind of like understudies in general of family life. Like we step into whatever role needs to be needs to be filled rather. And that's great. I mean, not complaining at all, but do you see the parallels
I
between?
do. I think it's also both things. There's a lot of thinking ahead. Like, okay, well, if this happens, then I'll do that. And if this happens, then I'll do that. And that's it is a lot how I approach my home life. It's also very much how I approach my work life, that I'm able to be doing whatever I'm doing one night and kind of thinking about, okay, just in case I'm hurt tomorrow, this is what I do. Or as we get into different theaters, this is a very specific thing to Beauty and the Beast. Mrs. Potts and Madame, their costumes are gigantic and they don't fit very well many places. And each theater we go to, our stage is the same because we travel the stage, kind of sits on top of the stage wherever we are, but the backstage is going to be different. The dressing rooms are different. One place they're downstairs or upstairs or on the right or the left. And even when I'm in my own ensemble track, I have to always be clocking where they can stand backstage. If they're standing somewhere new, to kind of be out of the way until they come on. And that's very much that part of my brain that's like, okay, just in case, okay, there's that. I'm going to go do this, but just in case tomorrow, that's where they are, that kind of thing. I feel that same way with Jack, with Maple the dog. She's sitting right there. That's why I just gestured at her. Um, that Danny and I both are kind of constantly like, okay, if you're going to do that part, then I'll do this. And we've already sort of thought through, like, here's how that has to be. Yeah.
I don't think it's bad to be prepared though.
No,
I
not
don't
at
like
all.
curveballs at all.
No,
I've
I
already
think,
thought through all the stuff that could happen.
yeah, I think kind of like I said before, um, being a mom, but also doing it the way that we are doing it right now, being parents the way that we are being parents right now on the road with the show, we are being as prepared as we can. But the thing that's been the bigger lesson, the bigger like growth moment for me is understanding that that first plan I have might not be the plan forever. Let's learn all we can and figure out what we can do, but then something's going to be a little different and we have to be able to pivot, has been the
Well, that's
bigger
going to be
lesson.
successful, obviously, in work, and then as your child grows,
I hope so.
that'll be very beneficial for you to have that mindset already
Yeah.
as part of your daily life.
Yes. Yes.
Now, have you been to Wharton Center before?
I have not. I have not. I'm very excited.
Have you been to Michigan before?
I have been to Michigan before. I grew up in Ohio. I have some family in Michigan. I remember distinctly going to the island and having fudge and riding,
Mhm.
tandem bicycles. But other than that,
The
yeah,
drive from Ohio. Yeah.
yes,
So, and yeah, well, you're at Michigan State, so some of your family might not like where you're going. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't go to Michigan State, but Julie, my partner, did, and there's a lot of Michigan State
it's a
around here.
big deal for some people, that's for sure.
That's okay. Is there anything that you try to do or experience locally when you travel?
Sure. We have just started. Actually, your website is probably going to be come in handy for us very much in East Lansing.
Yay.
We've started trying to find more things that Jack can do as he's 5 months old. He's much more interested in doing things. I feel like he's just started to become bored with his own toys. So we um we look for music classes at local libraries or aquariums or parks. We are always looking for places to walk the dog. She's a very anxious lady. She's a rescue that came with lots of her own quirks. So we're always looking for quiet places to walk her. But yeah, it's been exciting to look for more stuff for Jack to do because he loves to be in the front pack and just like look at things right now. So aquariums have been a big hit. We did one music class so far that he's never seen so many other babies. His eyes just popped out of his head. So we're trying to look for that kind of thing pretty much wherever
Well,
we go.
we'll be able to help you out.
Yes,
And
exactly.
he's going to be such an adaptable little kid.
Yeah, I
He's
hope
just
so.
so well, just all the experience he's having right now. Like that's
Yeah.
exciting. Excited for you. So, one last question. What do you hope moms in the audience in particular will take away? What would the takeaway be from seeing Disney's Beauty and the Beast?
Mm. I think wow. Well, okay, one thing that I was thinking about recently, actually, as the mom of a young man someday, um, I think the show has lots of beautiful lessons about hope, about being yourself. Belle knows that the town thinks she's odd. She does not conform to the town. She continues being herself. That's beautiful. But the character of the Beast in particular, um, is very interesting to me when I think about Jack and what I want for him, what I hope for him. Um, I think it's I think there's a lot of places in society, in media, where boys are taught that the only emotion they are allowed to express is anger. And
Mhm.
you see at the beginning of the story, I mean, the beast has reasons to be angry, I suppose. He has a curse put on him, but he is angry, but he's also sad, he's afraid, he's lonely, and he's only showing that with cruelty, with anger. And I think the bigger transformation that he goes through, I don't think Belle changes him or fixes him or something, but I think she's, maybe the catalyst, the reason he wants to try is that the beast starts to show vulnerability. He starts to become open to connection, open to sharing his feelings. I think one of my favorite lines in the whole show is right before the big dinner scene where Belle comes out in the gold dress and they're encouraging him to speak from his heart. And he knee jerk anger says, I can't. And then Lumière says, what are you afraid of, sire? And he says, I'm afraid she'll laugh at me. And I think it's such a beautiful admission. It like gives the beast so much more depth than maybe we've seen from him before. And I think that emotional journey of the beast could spark such a beautiful conversation just about how we manage our emotions and how scary it can be um to share your full range of emotion with other people, but how important it is.
Another time I'm speechless.
That's a lot.
No, it's been
I've
great. And
had months to sit and listen to this show and think about what it means to me, and that's the one I'm stuck on right now. Yeah.
well, you're listening to what you're supposed to be saying if you're playing one part, you're thinking about another part. You're always like going, going, going. I'm sure you have lots of opportunity to be like, You just see it differently after you see so many times. I appreciate that perspective because then sometimes we see things that we might not have noticed because of these conversations or notice it in a different way. So I appreciate that. And I also appreciate your time today. I know you have a Jackson on the other side of that wall, and I'm sure he's going to want to get to you here soon. We will share this in the coming days, and then we look forward to seeing you at Wharton Center from October 14th through the 19th. And we'll have ticket information below, and then we'll also find you some fun things to do while you're in the area.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much.